Hello, friends. It's Miss Ann again. Boy, that was quite a storm we had. I'm wondering how you all fared that. We didn't have many limbs down. Our porch swing went through our screened-in porch and tore the screen up, but that's about all the damage we had. But that was a big storm. That was a big storm. My message today comes to you from kind of an obscure story from Matthew, and this is a story that talks about things in your heart and the things that you say, the things that come out of your mouth, and how important it is to know that the things that you put into your mouth, the things that you eat, don't make you a bad person. But the things that come out of your mouth, because they come from your heart, can decide what kind of person you are. Now, in this scripture lesson from Matthew, it's Matthew 15, 10 through 20. Jesus is giving a lesson about things that you say, and they can be cruel sometimes. So you have to be careful, because everything that comes out of your mouth comes from your heart. But he also talks about the things that go into your mouth. And why would he bring that up? That's an interesting thing. Well, at the time that Jesus was making this teaching, there were Jewish people who had very special laws about eating and what they would eat. And it was important for them to keep those laws because it defined who they were as a group of people. Now, an example of that would be I don't know what kinds of things you eat at your Thanksgiving meal, but at our Thanksgiving meal, we have something fairly unusual that you probably don't have at your Thanksgiving meal, and that's sauerkraut. We serve sauerkraut with turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy, and that sauerkraut comes from our German ancestry and our Bohemian ancestry, and so it's a part of our identity to have sauerkraut at our Thanksgiving meal. Very unusual. I bet you don't have sauerkraut at your meal. But I bet you do have something interesting at your Thanksgiving meal or your Christmas meal that defines you as a family, that says who you are. And you might take a minute to think about the things that you serve at your Thanksgiving dinner that tell you who you are. Well, in my story today, because Jesus wants us to realize that the things that we eat, even though they define who we are, don't make us a bad person, but the things that come out of our mouth do. And one of the stories that I have is kind of a different story too. And this is the story is spaghetti in a hot dog bun. And I'm actually going to have my granddaughter read it to you. So let's listen to the story and see if you can't figure out the message in this story and the message that Jesus has to tell us about the things that you eat don't make you a bad person. The things that come out of your mouth come from your heart, and they can make you a bad person. So let's turn this around and listen to the story.
Spaghetti in a hot dog bun, having the courage to be who you are. Written by
Maria
Dismondi. Illustrated
by Kim Shaw.
The delicious smell of breakfast filled the air as Lucy's grandpa handed her a plate. Lucy smeared ketchup on her toast. She turned to Grandpa and said, "Papa Gino, Harriet said she's never heard of ketchup on toast. Her family uses butter and jelly." It's okay. Not everyone likes the same thing, Lucy. It doesn't mean one person is right or wrong. We're all different. What a boring world it would be if we were all exactly alike. Do you remember what's really important?" Papa Gino asked. "Yes, Papa. Even if we're different from others on the outside, we all have a heart with feelings on the inside."
Right.
"That's my girl. Remember when you treat others with love and kindness, you are doing the right thing," Papa Gino replied. On the school bus, Lucy and her friend Harriet pulled out some paper and crayons. Sitting across from them was Ralph. As usual, Ralph sat alone, staring out the window. He looked over at them and rolled his eyes. In the classroom, Lucy sat down near the teacher. Ralph carelessly hurried over and tripped over Lucy's foot. Before long, he was
Glaring
at her. Ralph whispered, "Woof, I can't see the book with this poodle in front of me." Lucy could hear him giggling behind her. "Oh no, why did it have to be me?" she worried.
She wondered. Mm-hmm.
During lunch, Harriet shouted one of her silly jokes over at the other children's voices. As the girls ate, their bellies shook with laughter. Across the table hollered, "Yuck! That's the disgusting smell. Whoever heard of eating spaghetti on a hot dog bun?" Tony and the other children at the table turned away from Ralph, shaking their heads. Ralph continued, "Poor little Lucy," and with her hair so poofy, tears filled Lucy's eyes and she began to cry. On the way home, Lucy thought about what happened. Maybe Ralph is mean to me because different is being bad. I wish he would stop teasing me. Slowly, Lucy stepped off the bus. "How was your day?" Papa Gino asked. "Fine," she mumbled. Papa reached over and pulled the crayon out of her hair. "How did this happen?" he asked. Lucy didn't say a word. That night, as Papa Gino tucked Lucy in bed, he asked, "Is everything all right at school?" She rolled over. He sat down. "Always remember, something's not right. We can work on fixing it together. It's not the easiest, though. Lucy has to..."
How do I
stop Ralph from teasing me? How can he have a heart and be so mean? Lucy, had you heard of...
Lucy had
a hard time falling asleep, worrying about what would happen tomorrow. The following day, Lucy was surprised to find Ralph leaving her alone until Lucy took a bag Ralph handed her. Inside were dog bones with a note that read, "Lucy, Lucy eats stinky food that puts us in a bad mood. Lucy, Lucy, her hair shaped like a cone. Here's a treat for you, a yummy dog bone."
The beating
of Lucy's heart was so loud she knew everyone could hear her. Everyone around her could hear it. "Stop! It hurts my feelings when you do this, Ralph." Lucy said, "Please stop." Ralph turned around and walked away. At recess time, It was recess time, and Lucy played alone. She didn't want to tell her teacher about Ralph. She was afraid of being a tattletale. Lucy wished Papa Gino was here
to help.
What should I do? She asked herself. Over and over, the bell rang and recess ended. Help! Cried a child off the distance. Tony yelled, Ralph got himself stuck on the top of the monkey bars. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. This is my chance. I'll go tell Ralph how mean he really is. MEAN, mean. Lucy stomped off towards the monkey bars. When she reached Ralph, Lucy paused. She looked up in the eye and said, Why are you so mean? Standing before Ralph, Lucy could hear her Papa's words. Ralph did have a heart with feelings. In the moment, Lucy decided what she would do. She saw tears from Ralph's eyes. He hesitated to move and whispered, I'm scared. Lucy reached out and said, Here, take my hand, and she helped him down. They walked back to the classroom without saying a word. As the bus pulled up to Lucy's stop, Ralph reaches over and handed her a picture. Lucy was amazed by what she saw. Thanks, she muttered softly.
To Lucy.
After she got off the bus, Lucy smiled and said, Papa, there's this boy, Ralph, who was really mean to me today.
He was in trouble.
Who was really mean. Today he was in trouble and I helped him.
Mm-hmm.
Papa Gino hugged Lucy and replied, That took a lot of courage. It wasn't the easiest thing to do, to choose to treat others the way you want to be treated. I'm proud of you, Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
As they walked home, she asked, What's for dinner? Papa Gino said, Spaghetti. Lucy knew immediately what she was going to have for lunch the next day. Her favorite sandwich, spaghetti and a hot dog bun. Having the courage to be who you are.